My life stopped going the way I wanted when I didn't get that letter. You know, the one you're supposed to get on your 11th birthday. Then I waited for my 12th, my 13th, 14th. Yeah, it didn't come. Every cat that walked by and looked at me, I would be a bit suspicious. Are you going to transform into a human? Please tell me yes. Please. Please. But alas, the day never came. And I had to realize that Hogwarts was not going to invite me. I was not going to go through that sorting hat. So it was time to face reality. So I had to commit myself to do the traditional thing, to go to school, make sure I did well enough so I could go to uni, find a stable job and a career, because that was the way that I was going to make a living and have a life. Of course I had immigrant parents, so no doubt that added to the stress that I could not choose anything creative. I had to make sure I chose the most stable job I could find, and that I did. And I knew that all that awaited these long nights of study, these last minute assignments, all the nights that I spent slaving away, I knew. It's everything led up to having a career, making money so I could be able to help my family. And I needed to find the most stable, most well-rounded thing that I could find that was respectable enough. And I chose career in finance. And if anybody knows me, there's that trend. You know that trend on TikTok? The job doesn't match my aesthetic? That's me. Because I don't think I matched the aesthetic of finance, but I was in it, and I was in it for the long haul. After about a couple of years working in finance, I realized that my life wasn't aligning with how I wanted to be. You know, I was doing everything right. I got my promotions, I moved up, I made as much as money as I could at that time, and the person that I was looking in the mirror was somebody I couldn't recognize. Brief disclaimer, because I really think that 9-to-5 life is great. I think it is great, especially if that's the person you are. You love routine, you want a hobby, and you want to separate work from your daily life. Go to work, make your bank, and then go home and do whatever you want and be with the people you want. That is when I think a 9-to-5 is awesome. Not when it leaks out into your real life and it becomes a daily part of your stressor and you're stressed about it on the weekends and all that. I think that that's when I start to question whether it's really 9-to-5 or just your employer just trying to make the most of the employees. So that is my disclaimer. I really do love the 9-to-5 life, okay? I have been in the finance sector for over a decade, and I worked at 2 banks. I also worked at an insurance company, and I also worked at 2 investment companies. So that's a little brief history about where I did. But I did my longest stint at one investment company, which was over 7 years. And then something really happened to me. I realized that even when I was in my investment company, the jobs were not stable. We were having restructures every year. They felt so distant to me because they never touched me. And then sometimes they'll come close. We might be doing something in our team. We might move from one place to the other, or maybe our managers will be replaced or combined. But I was never really truly affected by those restructures. That was until one year my job was on the line. Spoiler, I was not let go. When I reflected, it was just a very traumatic time. I remember thinking, why am I fighting so hard for a position that I don't really care about, I don't really want? And I spent all this time working to build this career just for me to be made redundant. Now, I was fully aware that I could find another job that was similar to this. I was fully aware that if whatever happened, I knew I would be fine. But the stress and the knowing that most of my income came from one place and one place only, and it could be ripped away from me, was really hard, especially knowing that I was a breadwinner for me and my husband. And even though he had a job, I did earn a majority of the income. That was something that really hit me, that as soon as, whenever an employer decided they didn't want me, I would not be eligible for a job anymore. And I realized that a lot of my worth was tied into my position and my job and how stable I was, and the fact that I'm a Pacific Island woman in a financial sector that is has a place. Like, there's not a lot of women that look like me in that industry, and there's not a lot of people that look like me. And so I placed a lot of my own self-value into that. And that was something that I really had to grapple with. And even though that happened, it still took me a couple of years before I really made actions to change what I wanted. And there was a multiple other factors as well, and I'll list them out here. And recently at the time, I had 2 family members who are women close to my age who had died, and one of them was also quite successful in her career. She worked as a nurse, and another, she basically dedicated her whole life to working her life away just to be able to help her family. And I really felt like those parts resembled who I was, and they resembled me as a person. I had been this person that felt like I was sacrificing myself and my body and who I was just to be able to have money, and I didn't like it. I didn't love what I was doing. I hated what I was doing to a certain point. Couldn't see that what I was doing was really like impacting me, and I had gained so much weight from the time I started my career. I had gained about 50 kgs. That lifestyle like really took a toll on me, because even though it was a 9 to 5, I would have to stress it and worry about these things even on the weekends. And they said no, you don't have to, but there were definitely nights that I stayed up all night trying to finish a project. There were weekends where I worked overtime to try and make sure that I had things done by Monday. And I felt like a lot of that stuff was underappreciated, and it was just something that was expected of me, because that is the level of competency that I needed to work to be able to get there. And on top of that, I was already having my own photography side hobby that I was doing, that I was working as a small business where I was doing photo shoots as well on weekends. So I would be working, and then I'd going straight into photography photo shoots, and I'll be editing, and then I'd be doing that in a cycle, and then I'd be posting on social media every day, and everything so felt so overwhelming. I really had something that I was doing that I really did love as well. I realized when that redundancy happened that I don't know if this is even worth the job, worth having. All this time and effort that I'm putting into here, could I not put the same time and effort into something that I loved and that I wanted to do, where I was also really in charge of my own hours? And even if I wasn't making the same, I feel like that would be so much more less stressful than doing something for somebody else who was making a profit for shareholders that I didn't even care for. And a lot of the stuff that did rub me the wrong way. We have to do this for the company, and honestly, the company didn't care about us when they made us redundant every year. Care about the people that had spent years and years working and building that company, only to be let go within a month or so after being told that they were going to be made redundant. So if that company didn't care about me, why should I care about that company? And so a lot of these things had come together and formed this solid belief that I needed to find an exit strategy. I didn't know how that was going to look like. I didn't know what it was going to be, but I knew it was going to be something. I had to figure out how was I going to exit, what was I going to do. And this took me a little longer to kind of get together. I did make sure that I had enough money just to keep me afloat for expenses for the next couple of months. And if you're in today's economy, I would probably recommend a year or two. But I won't say that this is the best method. I just kind of wanted a quick exit. If I was going to be making money, I wanted to make it from a lot of different sources, and I didn't want one way of income to be my only way of income. I really knew that I wanted to get into YouTube, because that was something that I've always wanted to do, and something that I've just never had the time to do because of the amount of things that I was doing. I knew that I just wanted to create videos, and I just wanted to have fun online. I didn't even have time for fun. I didn't have time for anything that wasn't making money or being able to do things that I wanted to do in life. I left the industry, and honestly, I do not regret it at all. I don't regret anything. You know, that letter from Hogwarts may have been a dream, but I feel like I'm living a dream of a different kind. And honestly, it feels like I just quit to make YouTube videos for only like 3 followers, but feel really happy with where I'm at. I feel like I have the luxury to do what I want to do, and the only thing I think is like worrying about paycheck to paycheck where I'm going to get my money from. There are some people that thrive in that environment and some people that don't, and I really do think I'm one of those people who really thrive in that environment. That's just me, and for a lot of people it could be stress inducing, and so stick to your 9 to 5, guys. Don't do this. If you think this is gonna not stress you out, it will stress you out, just in a different way. I have loved the most is that I've gotten to change my lifestyle. I've been able to be more active because that's what I really truly wanted. I wanted a healthier lifestyle where I'm in charge of my day most of the day, and I'm able to know what I want to eat. I know what I'm going to be doing that day, and everything and every day and every week is slightly different, but it's a day that excites me, and I get up and I get ready and I go to work and I do the things that I love. And honestly, it might not be your idea of success, but it's totally mine, and it's how I've always wanted my life to be, where I've been in charge of my own destiny and my own journey. And I really hope you enjoy my video. Maybe that letter from Hogwarts will come for you. Maybe there's a secret society of magic people. But until then, I hope you find your journey. And so this is why I left my 9 to 5 and I decided to pursue this full-time, even without a following on YouTube. Because I'm crazy. But if you want to keep watching my journey and watching to see what kind of challenges that I do and what I come up with and me figuring that all out, please subscribe here to this channel. I'm excited for you guys to follow me on this journey. Please also check out my TikTok and Instagram and my other YouTube channel, My Beautiful Polynesian Life, where I get to do other new things. I hope you have a great day. Please subscribe. Bye.